Very good one for respected teachers and listeners. Myself, Dr. Dinesh Matike from Gyan Medical College of Research Center at Adao. My topic for today's presentation: the impact of artificial intelligence adoption on business productivity in emerging economies. A panel data analysis. Okay, so today morning we have a guest speaker talking about the effect of artificial intelligence on productivity. So this topic is slightly or more or less connected with the same line. So we know that AI is transforming the business productivity across the globe. There is no doubt, and ultimately it is improving our business decision making capacity. Now, in this paper, I am trying to link with AI adoption in emerging economies, right? The economies which are growing much faster in recent times. So the scope of this study, mainly I am focusing on 10 emerging economies like India, China, Brazil, South Africa, etc. And we are examining the link between AI adoption and the business productivity. And also this paper considers digital infrastructure, human capital formation. And I use the panel data as a mix of cross-section and time series for this analysis. Now, why this paper is important? Actually, the question is there. Today morning, sir has told whether AI is really improving the productivity or not. That is the question here also, especially in the emerging economies. So, emerging economy has a lot of characteristics. You know that it is not developed, but it is trying to get into the new path of growth. So there are a number of issues with the emerging economy. Within these economies, how this AI adoption connects with the productivity. Now the point is whether AI alone is sufficient for productivity growth. That's the biggest question. And emphasizing the role of infrastructure, skill and efficient investment. That is what this paper is focusing on. And we are getting an insight, especially the policymakers and business people, how we can connect with AI business output, the productivity. Now this research paper is contribute AI and the productivity in emerging economies in different perspectives. Next. So the two important objectives that I have stated, one is to examine the impact of AI adoption on business productivity. The second one, the role of digital infrastructure, human capital and capital formation influencing the productivity. Now alternative hypothesis I have stated, we are looking at, especially one is AI adoption as a positive impact. Everything is alternative statement is written here. And digital infrastructure positively influence productivity. Even human capital positively affect productivity. And capital formation and also directly affect the productivity. This is the alternative hypothesis statement. Now, what is the research gap? Actually, if you look at many studies, they are mainly focusing on developed economies, where they have a good, ecosystem of AI. But here we are looking at emerging economies, and also many studies are isolated studies with individual countries or certain countries. What I am looking at here is combining AI adoption, digital infrastructure, human capital formation in a single panel framework, right? So there are very few studies which consider panel as a solution for getting the research output. So in this study, I am taking the panel analysis and getting a comprehensive multi-factor analysis which gives you a broader perspective, a general perspective what is happening in case of emerging economies across the globe. So the research methodology, I have collected data from World Bank World Development Initiative database connecting 10 emerging economies from 2016-25, and the key variable is used AI adoption index, digital infrastructure, human capital formation. And if you look at the panel analysis, which is mainly focusing on pooled loyalists, fixed effect, random effect, log linear, and interaction number. So the base output I can show you today. So here, if you look at it, because I know this, at this time it is not so easy to explain everything. One is correlation index. If you look at correlation index with AI, if you connect with any of these variables which I have just told, we have seen very weak correlation. If you look at the correlation is slightly weak. There is no high correlation between any of the variables. And also if you look at our baseline model, what is happening to productivity because of A index, it is also not very good. If you look at the statistical significance point of view, it is 0.8. So at 10% level you can accept, but not very high. Even we have an interaction model. There also, if you look at many p-values are very high, so majority results are not statistically significant. That means there is no actual impact. But some cases, if you look at, for example, 10% digital function is okay, you can consider. But very important, ample correlation which is negative sign. We'll discuss why it has negatively related with our output. So when you increase more capital, what is happening with the physical capital? So how it is impacting the output? Here we got a negative sign, but some justification I can give you that in the later stage. Even the extended model with including all variables together with AIX, there also there is no much changes. If you look at any digital comes is significant, even capital formation also significant, but sign is negative. So we will come to this result, what actually this result means. So AI adoption shows positive but weak effect on productivity in the emerging economies. There is no strong evidence that your AI adoption will directly lead to productivity. Second one, obviously digital infrastructure has a strong positive impact on productivity. You need better digital infrastructure. That is what the result says. Now human capital also shows, but that's very insignificant. So we have a problem here. But this negative sign is another very interesting fact about emerging economies. So what actually it means? Next slide. So obviously productivity is influenced by multiple factors, not AI alone. That is the one thing. But digital infrastructure emerges as a key driver. It is seen in all the analysis. This plays a very important role in productivity. Even the skill development is very important. But the point is whatever investment is happening in emerging economies which is not directly linked with productivity. That means efficient resource allocation is not happening. Or else we can tell efficient investment is not happening. So this is one of the problems we are finding in the emerging economies. Inefficient investment allocation may reduce productivity gains. If it is really efficient resource allocation or efficient investment which directly link with output, which is not happening in many economies. So the last policy implication. So invest in digital infrastructure including reliable internet and connectivity and any other support system which will give you the growth. Promote AI adoption through innovation policies and institutional support. Strengthen human capital, that is very important, education playing all these things. And improve the quality and efficiency of your investments, that is more important. So ultimately I can tell you AI alone is not sufficient. Productivity growth depends upon complementary factors such as infrastructure, skill, and efficient investment. Now finally, we can conclude what is happening in emerging economies is not, the productivity is not really significant with respect to AI adoption. Maybe we are very early stages to see the impact. But if you consider some studies in the developed economies, they have a significant impact. But it is not happening at present. Even there is a problem. If you look at India's case, we are good at IT export, but what is happening? We have an inequality in terms of rural-urban divide. Only few centers are connected with IT, not everywhere. Same way, if you look at China case, what is happening? They are good at enhancing their productivity. Their industrial output is very good. But what is happening? Their state-driven investment policies are discriminating. There are issues. Lot of corruptions are. So n number of issues every emerging economies we can find. So finally the study reveals that there is issue with the AI adoption and the output. Thank you.
The last conclusion you said, India is always a developing nation, but we are not that much of good in developing the AI. There are some observations for me. So how do you measure the AI index? How do you measure? What are the variables for the AI index? And what is the difference between digital infrastructure and the AI?
Actually, the AI adoption index is designed by World Bank Development Indicator that actually includes the export percentage of high quality output or high quality product which is connected to digital or what you call the newly innovative product which is software oriented, and also they are taking plus the innovation which is happening in the ecosystem. So they have considered so many small output and they consider one index that is developed by World Development Indicator. But this digital infrastructure is separate one. For example, digital infrastructure, they see the internet connectivity, how many people are using broadband, whether rural or urban are they getting all the facilities, the infrastructure. That is called digital infrastructure in general perspective.
And my second question, does AI adoption widen the gap between the developed and emerging?
See, developed nations already they have an institutional setup. It's very good, right? But whereas if you look at the Indian context itself, we are following. See, we have large numbers of people are still in our rural area. But if you look at developed nations, you can't find that difference between rural and urban itself. More or less everything has they have every access, but we don't have that access. Even if you look at the country like Thailand, even Brazil, they are all coming to the emerging economies, but they have a lot of issues with respect, especially SMEs. We are working with the small and medium enterprises, but their adoption rate is very low. But whereas developed economies they are not based on SME sector. They have a really advanced system for all their MNC companies and other things. So it is entirely different. Maybe after a few more years, things may come. Thank you.
Let me introduce our chairperson for today's session, Dr. Nilesh Murarkar, an accomplished academician in the field of commerce and accountancy. Dr. Murarkar recently completed his PhD in commerce from Goa University and has also qualified the UGC NET in commerce. He holds a master's degree in commerce in accountancy. With over a decade of rich teaching experience, he is currently serving as a professor in accountancy and Goa Multi-Faculty College in Bangalore since 2015. Prior to this, he has contributed significantly to reputed institutions such as the Government College of Commerce, Margao, Government College, Delhi. His professional journey also includes diverse roles in education and industry, reflecting his well-rounded expertise. Dr. Murarkar's dedication to teaching, academic excellence, and student development makes him an ideal guide for today's session. I warmly welcome you, sir, and request you to share this session. So, he has already started once again. Thank you.
Good morning to the dignitaries and all present here. My name is Anjali Hathe, Assistant Professor at GVM College of Commerce and Economics, Kota, Goa. And I am here to present on a very important research paper titled Impact of Fundamental Awareness and Risk Management on Ease of Use of Fintech Investment Application, the mediating role of trading capital. So let me begin with a simple but a very important question. India is the largest growing economy and the most populous country. Despite this, when we look at the stock market participation, the number reveals a serious gap. In countries like US, nearly 60 to 62% of the population invest in the stock market, but in India, the penetration is barely around 12% through demat account, and nearly 3 to 4% of the population participate in the stock market actively. This is where the critical question arises. India, despite having 1.4 billion people in its country, still there is very less amount of fraction that invest in stock market. Therefore, my research paper aims to address why do millions of people still hesitate to invest in the stock market? What are the factors that actually influence how the individual perceives whether the fintech platforms are easy or not. So that's the reason this is the gap that my study aims to address. So in this context, the study considers the key factors such as fundamental awareness, risk management, and trading competence to see whether these factors influence on ease of use. Further, the study also considers the mediating role of trading competence, how the mediator mediates relationship among these factors on ease of use. Further, so the study is very important, very significant as it integrates these factors and also sees the mediation analysis, and this contributes to the managerial and theoretical contribution. Further, the study is guided by this objective to examine the impact of fundamental awareness, risk management, and trading competence on ease of use of fintech investing applications. Second, to analyze the mediating role of trading competence in the relationship between fundamental awareness, risk management, and ease of use. So, although there are many fintech adoption related studies which mainly rely on TAM and UTM model. However, so this studies, the fintech adoption studies rely on TAM and UTM model which doesn't capture the behavioral, it just captures the behavioral intention to adapt. However, it doesn't capture how this awareness, how the investor's capability dimension influence ease of use. There are very limited empirical research that are conducted on how awareness influences ease of use, how this risk management tactics influence ease of use, and the trading competence, most importantly the mediating role of trading competence. So therefore, the study aims to address this gap by considering these key factors. So the research methodology that has been adopted here is, you can see the quantitative research design has been adopted using primary data of 303 respondents, the active users of fintech investment applications such as Grow, Upstocks. Okay, so this was collected using the purposive sampling technique, and the tools that have been used is EFA, PLS and mediation analysis using SPSS Smart PLS software. So we will dive into the analysis. The study, as I said, it integrates these factors. The main three factors have been derived from EFA, that is explanatory factor analysis. So the fundamental awareness, trading competence, risk management has been derived from 12 variables through EFA, whereby 60% the total variance has been explained, and the KMO value is 88%, which means the sample is aggregate. Further, talking of ease of use, which has been adapted from literature, past literature. So with this, we have used the PLS mediation analysis. You can see this is the computed model from the software, Smart PLS software. So first, direct path analysis. You can see here the fundamental awareness doesn't influence ease of use directly, which means the fundamental knowledge is not sufficient, is alone not sufficient to influence how individuals perceive whether the fintech investment platforms are easier to navigate or not. Fundamental awareness has influence on risk management and trading competence, which means if you have the financial knowledge, it will increase your risk management tactics, and further it will increase your skill trading capabilities. Risk management influence trading competence, but it doesn't influence ease of use, which means the risk management tactics often considered as complex, and therefore it doesn't have direct impact on ease of use. However, it affects the trading competence. Further, the trading competence directly influences ease of use. So this is the mediation analysis. There is a serial mediation effect that has been found from fundamental awareness to ease of use through risk management and trading competence, which means the financial knowledge can impact ease of use, but it needs to be translated into risk management tactics and trading competence, which means you need to require the risk management tactics and the actual practical capabilities of trading. So there is a fundamental awareness directly influence ease of use through trading competence, which is practical trading capability. Further, the trading capability also have a full relation to risk management to ease of use. So, the findings of my study is that the trading capability is very important as this is the mediator from financial awareness to ease of use and risk management to ease of use. Further, so there is a need for investors education and training, and further the researcher can study this findings, validate these findings across the larger samples and diverse regions. With that, thanks.
Very short, from the result deviation. What is the full deviation? The people who got full deviation. One is
So previously there was no impact from fundamental awareness to ease of use. So that means financial knowledge is not only important, nor the risk management is only the factors that influence ease of use. However, if you have the trading capability, then it leads to ease of use. Then the investor will feel more easier to navigate and operate the platforms. So previously it was insignificant, now it is
now it is.
significant.
So that means with the help of mitigating equals, we have a double effect.
Yes.
And how can the fintech platform improve the user's competency based on your finding?
Sorry.
How can the fintech platform improve the user's competency based on your finding?
So there are certain key parameters which I have used. Just can go to the factor analysis. Yeah, I did include sir. So EFA as I've done. Yes, EFA as I've done, I have given certain statement based on the type of scale. And there it was written like for risk management, you know the circuit breaker, you know how to set the investment limit. So all those are considered under research management, risk management, sorry. And fundamental awareness is including like you are aware of this software. And trading computers is like you are investing in stock market often and you know how to practically earn through that. So those type of statements were asked. So it includes each of the factors include more than I think 4 variables.
So convert this paper into sources because you have included computing factors and nowadays with the smart devices there are no chances of acceptance. So think about it.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Next, Shivali. The mic.
I am Shivali Naik, research scholar from Government College, Delhi, affiliated to Goa University. Along with my co-author, my research guide, Dr. C. Subramanian Bhatt, presenting the research paper titled Implications of Social Services Tax on the Business Performance of Micro and Small Firms in the State of Goa. In India, taxation is broadly classified into two categories, direct taxation and indirect taxation. Direct tax is a tax which we pay directly to the government, for example, income tax. Whereas the tax which is paid to government indirectly, that is to the third party, is indirect tax. For example, goods and services tax, GST, which was introduced in India on 1st July 2007, with the basic objective of simplifying the indirect tax structure prevailed in the country, and secondly, government wanted to provide ease of doing business to the MSME sector. Next. So, after doing a thorough small firms in Goa is very limited. Therefore, this particular topic I chose for my research. Next slide. My research answers the research question: what is the impact of goods and services tax on the business performance of micro and small firms? Why only micro and small firms? That is because, as per literature, when GST was introduced, of course there were a lot of challenges to the MSME sector, but compared to medium, micro and small firms had the more impact was felt by micro and small firms. Therefore, the objective of my research is to examine the implications of GST on the business performance of micro and small businesses in Goa. My study is going to be very helpful for policymakers because it will provide them deep insights on the impact of various structural and system-based components of GST. It will be helpful to MSMEs themselves. Why? Because they will understand how this GST reforms is impacting their business performance. It will be also very much important, helpful for tax practitioners because they are also one of the stakeholders of GST. They play very important role between GST and MSMEs. Next slide. Next slide. Next. I have done a primary data study. Data is collected from 415 micro and small units from Goa. The study is conducted between August 2025 till January 2026. Next slide. So these are my hypotheses. Next slide. This is the demographic table. It shows that most of the respondents are micro units from training category. Most of them are graduates. Majority are made from North Goa. Next. This is the reliability and validity assessment table, which shows that all the VIF values shows absence of multicollinearity and all other values have the threshold limits are achieved. Next, discriminant validity is also achieved using Thornton-Larger and HTMD criteria. Next slide. And these are my findings. This is the table showing hypothesis testing. So this slide, this is the model which shows 41.2% of the variance is explained by this model. Just come to the previous slide. So I have 5 hypotheses. The first hypothesis is compliance cost has a significant impact on the business performance, which is unsupported by this analysis. Again, hypothesis number 3, GST awareness. It has a significant impact on the business performance, is also unsupported. Whereas CITS hypothesis second, change in the tax structure has a significant impact on business performance, is supported with p-value of 0.000, which means that when GST was introduced, it incorporated various changes in the system. Like for example, there was unification of tax, uniformity of tax in entire India, consistency of tax. It tried to eliminate the cascading effect of taxation and many more changes. So these changes have positively impacted the business performance of micro and small firms in Goa. Secondly, H4, hypothesis 4, that is GST's compliance system impacts significantly the business performance of micro and small firms is also supported, which means that the goods and service tax compliance system, it was altogether different compliance system compared to the previous ones. So, though the system was very stringent, it had stringent rules, regulations, laws, but it's so well structured that it eliminates all the procedural complexities of the system. Secondly, it also encourages the compliance from this the systematic online return filing system, which is that it encourages them to file their returns within the stipulated time, thereby enhancing the compliance of indirect tax in the state. Again, it also makes them report all the transactions within the time, which keeps them updated, enhances their compliance, thereby increasing their efficiency level, which leads to positive business performance. Coming to transparency, last hypothesis, transparency impacts has a significant impact on business performance is also supported, which means that compared to the previous regimes, transparency is a main feature of GST, which is showing the T value here is 9.3, that means the impact, the significance of this particular factor is very, very high, which means that the clarity of the system, clarity of the rules, regulations, laws in GST, the easy return filing procedure of GST, the clear-cut distinction between CGST, SGST, how much they pay for which government is clearly defined. So that means the transparency of GST has helped them in increasing their operational efficiency, ease of doing business, and the overall corporate performance. Next slide. So I conclude that this particular paper is based on constructs are taken based on optimal taxation theory. So my theoretical contribution is optimum taxation theory focuses on three aspects: equity, efficiency, and minimization of tax burden in taxation. So my study extends this theory by demonstrating that along with those three things, the structural features, system features also can determine critically the economic outcome, like for example business performance of business firms. So I conclude that according to this study, the features of GST system structure are playing more important role when it comes to determining the business performance of firms compared to other factors like cost related and information awareness. That doesn't mean that awareness is not important. It is important, but it has to come with something like training sessions or workshops by understanding where exactly these people require training. Implications of the study. My study will be it suggests that policy makers should focus more on strengthening the compliance system, digital infrastructure, because these are the things which are very, very important from the point of view of compliance. And secondly, for MSME operators, it provides it explains them that the importance of the robust compliance system of GST, transparency aspect of GST. It tells them that they should take a very good advantage of this transparency factor in order to make some rational business and financial decisions. Thank you.
One observation just to this analysis point. Which when you put in a beta value, please make the confidence level. The beta value should be between the confidence level. Second thing, comes this one more thing. Here you can use a moderating factor with the help of MG. It will give you the idea about, for example, male and female. So whether it is related to the building example of the transformation, whether it is more transformation about the male or the female. So it will help you to analyze more in detail about the other factors, like a gender or any other things. So my one question is, as you said, transparency about related to the overall, is it did GST include the transparency and tax compliance in terms of the small firm? Because as for what I have learned about GST, it is more giving transparency benefits to the MSMEs. Not with the having a more turnover. But both are having a very less turnover. Is it any kind of benefit?
What I understood from my survey is people are finding it easy because before in the previous system this digitalization was missing, but now because of GST they were forced to go for digitalization. They are forced to keep all the digital records, which actually involved them cost, but it has also increased their dynamic firm capabilities have increased. They can see the portal, they understand which vendor has put the bills. So how much input tax I am going to receive, whether I have received, whether he has uploaded the bills on the portal. So with that it has facilitated their decision making process. Secondly, though they are handling it more, they are dependent on tax practitioners. So tax practitioners, through that extent transparency is achieved. But for some people, those who are very, very less knowledge of the system, they are still finding it difficult.
As you said, input tax credit, how does it actually work with input tax credit?
Input tax credit, they actually don't receive any cash in their hand. it is all on the system. So whatever tax they pay, whatever tax they pay to the government, it is actually effect is nullified from the input and the output. The goods what they sell, what tax they pay, and what tax benefit that they receive from the government. So everything is on the portal. I am not receiving any cash in my hand, but that effect gets nullified.
Could be the you of any another variable for your study.
It can be input tax credit.
Because that is the most important aspect for the GST. So if you are able to add input tax credit, it could give you a more weightage for your research.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next,
Good morning, everyone. Myself, Dr. Bansal Resha, and with my colleague, Professor Dilbhag Patil Devarmani, we are presenting a paper on role of digital payments initiative by NPCI in promoting financial inclusion in India. Mainly, traditional banking in India has many barriers due to geographic and cost and documentation related problems. But when India has implemented the NPCI in 2008 through its different umbrella products like UPI, IMPS, and Aadhaar-based and Aadhaar-enabled payment system and UPI, it has come up with extraordinary numbers that financial inclusion is happening in very strong numbers. For this paper, we have taken objective of this study to examine the growth and development of digital payments initiatives introduced by NPCI in India, to analyze the performance and transaction trends of NPCI platforms and their contribution to financial inclusion. We have evaluate the role of NPCI digital payments initiatives in enhancing the financial inclusion, to identify challenges and opportunities associated with the expansion of NPCI driven by digital payment systems in achieving the inclusive financial growth. Research methodology, we have adopted analytical and descriptive research using the secondary data sources. We have taken data mainly from NPCI website, RBI reports, and Ministry of Finance reports, annual reports. The study covered duration from 2016 to 17 and up to 2024-25 data. 2016-17 the UPI was launched, and till 2024-25 data. Analytical tools used using trend analysis, percentage growth calculations, and CAGR calculations, and we have used some graphical representations to make interesting. So, growth of UPI transactions we can see from 2017 to 2024, starting with 18 million transactions in 2017 in the initial year. In 2024-25, UPI transactions has grown up to 131.1 billion in numbers. So it's a phenomenal increase, and it has resulted in a largest real-time payment system in globally. It has, India is being one of the biggest real-time payment system. Many countries like in European countries and Asian countries are opting for the UPI-based transactions, that system. Growth of UPI transactions, we can see growth rate in the initial year, 2018 to 19, the growth was 49 times actually, because it was the base year, initial year, and in up to 2023 and 24, it was the growth was from 57%. 5-year CAGR for UPI volume stands at 89%, while for value, in terms of value, it is 86%. So UPI has become the dominant real-time payment system globally. When we see UPI monthly performance in 2024-25 year alone, UPI has recorded 18.3 billion transactions in March 2025, and the number of banks using UPI transactions raised from 583 in April 2024 to 661 March 2025. Year-on-year growth it shows 36% increase, and in volume terms it increase shows 25%, and monthly transactions volume climbed steadily from 13.3 billion in April 2024 to 18.3 billion in March 2025. When we see digital payments and financial inclusion index, in 2017, as we discussed, UPI transaction started with 18 millions, and the financial inclusion index you can see 43.4 it was in 2007, and in up to 2024, the UPI financial inclusion index as published by RBI, it has stood at 64.2, and if we look at the present data, it will be around 67% financial inclusion index. When we see growth rate of UPI transactions from 18 million to 131.3 billion transactions, UPI transactions have happened. This is the phenomenal growth, exponential growth we can say. Key findings of the study: the UPI transactions grew from 18 million to 131.3 billion, and the RBI Financial Inclusion Index from 43.4 in 2017 to 64.2 in 2024, showing a clear positive correlation between the UPI transaction growth and the financial inclusion index growth. NPCI ecosystem shifted India from a cash-heavy economy to one where the digital payments accounts for 87% of the retail transactions are going through UPI transaction mode. The challenges and policy roadmap, like what we can see, India, I will just focus on some challenges that digital literacy remains limited in many rural areas. Cyber security threats pose ongoing risk and user systems. Uneven digital infrastructures hinder the real mile, the last mile connectivity and remote areas. And the policy-driven policy efforts should be strengthened nationwide financial literacy campaigns, expanding the UPI umbrella through rural areas through AEPS micro ATMs, that UPI-based micro ATMs are coming up. So using that, we can further access can be increased in rural areas. Okay. To conclude, NPCI digital payment initiatives have transformed India's real-time payment system ecosystem, and these platforms successfully integrated previously unbanked population, reaching over 330 million individuals through digital rails. The initiatives produced measurable improvements in RBI Financial Inclusion Index. So, digital literacy gaps, infrastructure limitations, and cyber security risks are still there. So, we have to overcome this to further increase our success. Thank you.
So, one of the questions: how do digital platforms influence specifically rural areas in a financial inclusion? Because your presentation is overall.
Yes.
As you have taken rural as well as why, how is it possible for the influence of digital payment in the rural areas?
Sir, using UPI transactions, UPI system, earlier before 2017, the UPI system was not there. So when people, small vendors or rural public are also after UPI introduction, they are using UPI system through mobile usage to internet infrastructure and other based payment system. So by that, they are also coming into the main banking channel, like vegetable vendors, tender coconut and tea stalls. Everyone is coming into formal banking system. So earlier they were in the banking system, but the access and the frequency of them using financial system was very low. So once this UPI thing has come, so UPI and NPCI different umbrella products have come, the usage has increased and their access influence have increased.
In the same way, if you are going to have a report with the rural and urban comparison,
Yes.
it will give you the more idea about the government, which area they are
Where
whether it is a rural area or the urban area.
Yes.
So think about it.
Sure.
It's taking which NPCL initiative has the maximum impact on inclusive and the money. You said somewhere in your rupee user, it has a more impact.
Yes.
So why would it?
UPI, in the sense UPI transactions, once they came, the formal means cash, earlier it was cash based, more of the cash based transactions. So in cash based transactions, most of the formal, they were not going through banking system. Okay, so that has, what has happened now, they are coming into online, through online, they are going through banking channels. All the payments and payments receipts or payment making and receiving the payments, everything is going through formal channel. So their financial records have been increasing. So earlier data capture, transaction, how much transaction is happening, how many people are using, banking system was very less. Okay, so the number of people using banking transactions has increased because of UPI, because earlier when they were holding the cash, the individuals or the small businessmen holding the cash, the tendency of them going to the formal banking system was very low. So them visiting the bank or using the formal banking system was very low. Now they are using banking system or banking channel through UPI. That's why the financial inclusion has increased, because their access, the level of access has increased.
Purnima.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. This is Dr. Purnima along with Neha Terry. So I am here to present on the research paper titled Digital Economy and Online Platform Labor Demand. Okay. So here, to start with, the digital economy has expanded rapidly. In fact, we can say it has grown at an exponential rate, fundamentally transforming how labor markets function. So one of the key developments is the rise of platform-based employment, commonly known as the gig economy. So digital economy means using the internet and technology in the business and work. And today many people work through online platforms instead of traditional offices. Okay? So the study focuses here on 6 countries: Australia, Canada, Germany, India, UK and the US, over a period of 2018 to 2022. And we focus on 3 areas: how online jobs are growing, focusing on how trends in online labor demand, and what type of jobs are available, setting the occupational pattern, and how internet access affects these jobs. Okay? So the role of, here we are studying the role of digital infrastructure in facilitating platform work. So next slide. So this research is important because the platform economy is becoming a major source of employment worldwide, as I said earlier. It is not only creating new job opportunities but also reshaping traditional employment structures. So labor demand and insufficient understanding of how digital infrastructure affects participation in platform work. Okay, so this study is contributing by combining online labor indices, that is OLI data, with digital infrastructure indicators, which is given by WTI, and provides cross-country empirical evidence. So, next, coming to the research objectives and hypotheses, the study has three main objectives. First, to examine how online labor demand has grown over time. The second objective is to analyze how demand varies across different occupations. And the third one is to assess how digital infrastructure influences this demand. So based on these objectives, there are three hypotheses being stated. The first one being online labor demand has increased significantly over time. The second hypothesis, based on the second objective, there are significant differences across occupational categories. And the third one is the digital infrastructure positively impacts labor demand across the countries. So what is missing in the research is that there is a limited study, okay, analyzing the determinants of online labor demand. Only this study actually we are, like one-sided. We have the data of online labor supply also, which has not been incorporated. That will go to the another paper. Okay, so we are studying only online labor demand, which is given by the OLI index data. Okay. So the third one is insufficient research on how digital infrastructure influences platform participation is not being done. Very less literature is available on this, so we are trying to incorporate that one over here. The third is there is a limited evidence on how occupational composition of platform work is changing over time. Okay. So additionally, many studies rely on short-term data. In fact, the data chosen here also, we have tried to extend it till to 2026. The recent one, the monthly data which is available, but we are still waiting the website to get updated. OLI website is available. So for the countries we have selected, it is available only till 2022. So sorry, 2024. So we have limited only till that one. So we are trying to extend with the online supply demand condition, supply of the labor. We are trying to extend it 2026 for the another paper. Okay, coming to the research methodology, what we have followed over here. The study uses the data from online labor observatory, specifically the online labor index, which captures the demand and the supply for online work. The digital infrastructure data is another component which has been incorporated in the study, and it is obtained from World Bank and ITU, including internet penetration and broadband subscription. The data set is a panel consisting of 6 countries over the period of 5 years, giving 30 observations. Okay, so 3 econometric models are used. First one, to analyze the trend. Okay, the model is given over there. A trend model to analyze the growth over the time period. The second model is the occupational demand model. So the information on 4 occupations are available, which is given by Online Labor Observatory for technical, creative, clerical, marketing and professional occupational patterns, okay, or the structure or the jobs. For the third one, digital infrastructure, a panel, a model to examine the impact of digital infrastructure is studied for the countries being selected. So for that, 2 variables are used. One is internet subscription and another one is broadband availability, broadband subscriptions. Okay. So we'll go to the key findings over here. The first model shows that the online labor demand increases by 0.32 percentage points annually. Okay, and so this means that platform work is growing, which is supporting the hypothesis. The second model reveals that technology-related occupations dominate platform work. Okay, so we can see the technology, creative, clerical, marketing, and professional are significant. Okay, so out of that, technology jobs like programming or IT are the highest in demand. Clerical and traditional professional jobs are decreasing on platforms. Okay, going to the next slide. So the third model focuses on digital infrastructure. It shows that a 1% increase in internet penetration leads to 0.12% increase in online labor demand. Okay, so broadband access also has a positive and statistically significant effect. Okay, so here we can see this also is hypothesis has been supported. What the hypothesis we have said. So internet, this confirms that digital infrastructure plays a very crucial role, but its impact varies across countries. If internet users increase, online their job demand also increases. Better broadband connections also helps. Some countries perform better, like India, UK, and US for cross-country effects, and the time effects are also shown. Okay, some perform worse, like Germany, which has a negative. And also when it comes to the time effects, during COVID-19, online jobs increased because people work from home. So there is, after that one, we can see that there is a drastic growth over a period of time. Okay. So coming to the next discussions and theoretical contributions, these findings suggest that platform work is not a temporary trend, but it is a structural shift. Okay, so in labor market, so the dominance of technology occupation supports theories of task-based technological changes where digital skills are increasingly valued. The study also highlights country-level differences, showing that institutional factors influence how technology impacts labor markets. And theoretically, this research extends digital divide literature and challenges the idea that technology alone determines the outcomes. Okay? So this study also showed that online work is not temporary, but it is a long-term change. So next slide, last one. Coming to the implications and conclusions from a policy perspective, the study suggests investing in digital infrastructure and improving digital literacy in underserved areas. Okay, regions are important. There is also need to focus on STEM. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And digital skills training, since technology occupations dominate platform work. So government should update labor regulations to provide social protection for platform workers and support workers transition from traditional areas. Okay. So the key conclusions are online labor demand driven is driven by time trends, technological occupation shift, and digital infrastructure. There is significant country level heterogeneity, and this is because of there are various institutional factors, being defined for each and every economy. Each and every economy is different from each other. So that is why differential impact is formed. So there is a scope for further research by extending the data or comparing the post-COVID era and the pre-COVID era. Okay, and you can go for not only choosing the few occupational structures, you can go for extending the occupational structure depending upon each country wise occupational patterns. That's it. Thank you.
What was the sample from the each country of India?
Sir, actually the sample set only of 5 countries was available, which was given by the labor index.
Each country?
From each country, 5 was the observations.
Only 5?
Yes, 5, because the data was available only for that period of time. Because this is the latest data which has been developed. Okay, and the authors of this index, they have even published a paper on related to the development of the index and also availability of the data. online labor demand and online labor supply data is created and developed by them. And they have updated all the information related to the occupational patterns which they have defined. They have collected the information on their own and they have uploaded the data. And for all the countries it is not equally available. Only the chosen countries it is equally available for all the 5 years. So only 5 years data for all the 6 countries has been selected, which includes both the developed and emerging economies. Like US I have taken, UK I have taken. So Germany and China and India is being followed.
So your topic is about the online platform labor demand. Related to the same, the rise of gig economy change the labor demand platform or the pattern.
Yes, sir.
If it is there, then how?
So it has increased over a period of time. As I said, like post-COVID, there was a demand for work from home, and also, like there were so many companies wherein they did not want to close their operations, but they wanted the companies to function. Okay, so whatever the works was being offered, being done by the company's employees, they started doing the work from home itself. So, like, delivery is required, like it may be of the vegetables or it may be of any services. Like in case of this, it is not only related to the, like Amazon or Flipkart or Blinkit or Instamart, whatever we are seeing, we think only that has a gig economy or the platform-based economy. It is not only this. Because of this introduction of the AI and all, there are so many freelance workers also, freelance of job opportunities also, which has increased over a period of time. So this is just given a platform so that the jobs are being outsourced. It is not only, like anybody can develop an app, but they can also extend the job opportunities to anybody who is sitting anywhere in the world. So this is how the trend has changed. And that is why the digital infrastructure has played a very greater role in creating the job opportunities. Maybe, like it varies from one country to another country, but at the same time, like why it varies because, the digital knowledge of using the digital knowledge or the digital infrastructure being provided by the government also it varies from one economy to the another economy. So because of that, this is still in the growth stage. Over a period of time, it will increase. That's why I said, when compared to the post-pandemic era, it has grown at an exponential growth. So, and it has never come down, and it is growing still further. So, there is in case the government and even the companies, if they give push for, and give all the opportunities like maybe digital literacy, as I said, and we have the AEP wherein, you can incorporate that one into the syllabus also like science, STEM, what we call it as. In case, if you incorporate, there would be a really good growth. Because understanding is at the preliminary level, if it is made them understood better, so it will go further. So there would be never a decreasing for the online job opportunities. Thank you, sir.
Sanjana Nidhi. So next Sanjana ma'am. Nidhi. Atu.
Morning to everybody, research scholars, faculties and students from all the colleges. So, my name is Deep Madhukar. I am assistant professor in Department of Commerce. And mistake the way might not have come there. And co-author with me is Sanjana Orankar, that is assistant professor in Department of Commerce and is political presentation. Our study is an empirical study on customer satisfaction and adoption challenges in e-banking services. Okay. So, when we talk about banking, traditional banking, India as a whole lacked in the traditional banking technological advancement, because when the world developed countries were in 2005, we were in 2015 at the same level of technology. So the technological advancement was little slow, but through the introduction of UPI, now we are the leaders in UPI, online payment. After that, we needed an accelerated evolution of digital technology, and it has advanced significantly. As earlier, the things which were there in physical form like passports, now we have passports which are generally accepted everywhere. So through this study, I understand what are the customer dynamics, how the customers are using, what are the key factors which customers see when they are adopting e-banking services, and what are the challenges in adoption. There are various challenges like trust, technical challenges which one might face while using the e-banking. So we'll be covering the same thing in this study. Next, the objective of the study are stated to investigate the factors impacting customer satisfaction with e-banking platform, which are going to be studied using regression analysis. Next, to study the challenges in adoption. I will do the exploratory factor analysis for the same, and the use of e-banking services. The sample size for the study was 162 respondents using convenience sampling. I had the primary data source for the study. And the tools and techniques used are Excel, SPSS, regression, ANOVA, and EFX. So the first analysis is regression analysis. The hypothesis framed was there was a significant influence of the factors impacting e-banking platform that are usability and accessibility, functionality and performance, security and privacy on the customer satisfaction. So after the study, p-value of the model was found out that 0.000. This model was tested at confidence level of 5%. So the indicated p-value signifies that the null hypothesis was rejected and stated that there is a significant influence of these factors on customer satisfaction, whereas the individual analysis, the usability and accessibility were found to be significant, functionality and performance were found to be significant, but security and privacy was not found to be significant. It might be for the reason that in today's times we don't see security as a extraordinary factor. We consider as a norm. Okay, but the functionality, performance, usability and accessibility might be the factors which we are looking in order to which banking service or which banking app to be used. Next. Okay, the ANOVA was carried out to know whether there is a significant difference in use of e-banking services across age groups. As we know, the usage of traditional banking platform was there earlier. So when the shift was made to e-banking services, there was a significant difference in age groups using the e-banking services, as it was found out with the significance value of 0.01. Also the homogeneity test was conducted for this, and all the data was saying that it is Raymond test was conducted and it was found to be insignificant, more than 0.05, which is significant in activity for Raymond test. Then the exploratory factor analysis revealed that there are three major factors which are arriving: trust, technology, technical challenges, and customer support, which are the challenges in adoption of the e-banking services. The total variance explained in the model was 68%, 68.735, and the individual factor loadings suggest that there is a strong correlation of each individual component taken under those construct with 0.5 being the minimum, but all the factor loadings are mostly above 700. So it is a very good sign about the factors. Now the discussion and theoretical contribution. Next. Okay. So usability, accessibility, functionality, and performance have significant influence on customer satisfaction was found out by using the regression. Use of e-banking services differs across each age groups. It was found out that different age groups, among that the use of e-banking services differs. Whereas when I go through the data, it was found out the younger generation, which is there from below 25 to 35, these people are using more e-banking services as compared to the people who are there above 45. And then the trust, technical challenges, and customer support are the key obstacles and these are the obstacles which are to be overcome in order to achieve fully digital e-banking services to be provided and to be adopted in our day-to-day lives. Okay. Now, regarding the implication of this study, through this study I found out that the service providers should mainly focus on the user-friendly interface. That is, through first two variables in our regression, we found out how important are user-friendly interface. So when the companies are providing us with the services, they should focus on user-friendly interface so that all age group people, all the people who are there, they should find it easy. Then only they will use and they will adopt. Then there should be awareness generated for different age groups. They should be taught how to use this e-banking services, how to use application, so that India becomes a fully digital banking platform where everyone will accept the digital innovation which is there. The e-banking service providers should also overcome the challenges of trust, customer support and technical challenges in order to achieve the fully digital banking. So my references. Thank you.
Thank you, Dev. Why only 162 is the sample size you have taken?
162 is quantum because I have done this. This was taken from literature where the same sample size, multiple literatures were recorded, and it was average sample size was taken from the literature. Like 170 was there, 150 was there, then 180. So I divided and taken the average.
So which formula you must apply for that for 162 or 162?
Actually, it was I had taken the average, so directly I have not used any scientific calculators which are there for sample calculation, but it was directly taken.
Basically, you have to take a kind of model based on the samples and you cannot take that. I only get to your way when the UPI has come. So after that, some kind of a digital banking technology has operated. How is it possible? UPI is not only the one factor.
See, what has happened? Initially, banking technology and UPI technology was different. Like GPay was there, PhonePe was there. These are completely different. But nowadays, what is happening? They are not only providing the platform for bank, they are also adopting the UPI in their own interface. Earlier, they didn't have that SBI. They are using SBI, but they didn't have the UPI facility earlier. Now they are integrating the UPI in their technology itself in their e-banking services.
As you have taken the paper as a why not you have taken the paper as a security perception, which influence the usage also?
Security perception. So security is one of the key factors in adoption. So also I have taken in the regression why customer satisfaction is there due to the security. But here I have taken multiple questions. Trust is also forming a part of security. So the questions which are there in this trust, you see, these are similar to the security. So it is like I could have given the heading, but it was exploratory factor analysis, and more I found it to be trust rather than the security. Whether they trust the app to provide them the security.
The whole number of samples. What Dr. Ayalwal Prabhakar. Good afternoon all. Good to see you all. And basically the topic which we have presented over here in the research paper, it was emerging topics. One was about banking, second was about online demand for the labor. Next is implications of goods and service tax and many more. These are the topics which we have to address it, and with the help of research, we can initiate some more ideas about how we can solve these other problems which we are facing. There are many research gaps which we have been seeing in the research. So, with the help of research, we can address this kind of the problem, and it will help for the future generations also, how we can implement these other analysis parts and all with the help of your research. Thank you.